Okay. Yeah, so I was just saying how about it's a created controversy.
Yeah.
That was created through some of the lower level animal rights organizations that don't think the horses should belong in New York. It's now gone into another real estate land grab, which there's a man by the name of Steve Nislik who has started an organization called New York Class, which is basically put in place to try and put us out of business and have us replaced with electric cars. And what it would do is would seize our horses from us, basically make us criminals and say we're animal abusers and take our personal property from us, which is completely unconstitutional, and then supply us, that we would pay for, with a car to give tours around Central Park. And these cars are going to run about $175,000 a piece, which...
Assuming you even would want to touch a car.
Which, of course, if I wanted to drive a car through Central Park, I'd become a taxi cab driver.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure there's a place in the market for electric cars somewhere in New York, but that's not what we wanted to do. That's not why Paul started in the business. It's not why my dad came here and started in the business. And, you know, for an industry that is heavily regulated already and has had no cruelty tickets or anything along that nature, to be put out of business because somebody doesn't like us is just unjust.
Because somebody basically wants to, or real estate before the stables are.
Well, that's obviously his agenda.
That's his agenda. But his agenda is to break us in any way he can.
Yeah.
And the dirtier the better, and the noisier the better.
Yeah.
And
Because
sometimes
he sees
the people that make the most noise sometimes get the listening to, you know,
well,
unfortunately.
yeah, and we've also seen that they're well funded.
They're very well funded.
So
they're very well funded, and they're hard to. It's hard to fight that, you know.
I mean, I don't think people realize that some of these protesters are actually paid really good salaries.
Well, a lot
they're
of them
not
are.
voluntary.
A lot of them are, and a lot of these.
A lot of them are trying to do a good thing. They don't understand, and they're following along, and you know.
What we notice is that when you get speaking to people that are prepared to listen a little bit, you can. They're quite shocked about what's happening.
Oh yeah, I mean
even like people I've met over the years, a lot of people who come there to protest you who don't really understand, who think that there's a different. They think they're there for the sake of the horse, and then when you tell them what the agenda is, they're shocked, you know. And then they actually see the horse. Some people come up here don't even know, you know, they don't know about the horse, and then they see the horse and they're thinking, "Oh my God, what's the problem here? It's a beautiful horse."
And then it's so outrageous.
It's
yeah,
incredible.
People are embarrassed. They're like, "I'm so sorry." They apologize. They're like, "I'm sorry for coming here today to do this because I didn't know."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the next time you might see that person might have an apple for the horse.
Yeah.
Which is nice, you know.
Yeah.
The person that leads New York Class is paid $70,000 a year.
Right.
Paid. Now, Paul and I, like we just explained, we get up in the morning, we come to work, we get our horses ready, bathe, we get our harness ready, we get up to the park. You know, we try and get as many fares in as possible on that particular day. Then we come back, we feed and water the horses, get everything, put carriages away. You know, we don't have time, on top of that, to be wrestling with animal rights people and their agendas and running all over the city to combat all of their lies and misinformation. It's just, we have to go to work. And this is our job.
You don't have the finances.
Nor do we have the finances.
Legally,
yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
So I mean, that's a big issue.
We're kind of being pulled all around the city, like, you know, we're trying to do our horse business, and then we find ourselves that we have to defend ourselves, and we're going to council meetings, we're going to this, we're going to that, we're going to community board meetings. These people are sipping on all the time, you know, and they're bringing us down to community board meetings, and this is all time consuming. We're obviously financially, we've had to hire different people over the years, but we try to do everything ourselves due to the fact that we like to put our face on our own business to people. And it's time consuming and financially, and more importantly, it's so frustrating.
Oh God, I can only imagine. I mean, I really sympathize with you this way. It's incredible. It's
incredible, and you know, I could see if we were just a 1960 business that wasn't being proactive. You know, our policy is to try to be proactive, not reactive. I mean, we've unionized ourselves. Who does that? We unionize ourselves to, again, as another way of showing people around the world, not just around New York City, that, you know, we do the right thing, you know.
What we've done over the years to our own business is just, it's unbelievable. We've changed our working hours 100%. We've done everything for the sake of the horse, and we've been very proactive. Steve said we've basically written this law that
provides
for the benefit
vacation
of the horses.
time for horses.
No,
There's not a horse. It's not a horse in America
Nobody
today.
gets furlongs.
They
Our horses
get-
all get 5 weeks
No.
furlong every year. Every year.
Or
Every
more.
Or more. That's the basic though. 5 weeks. Nobody gets that. And we do this all the time. We've taken, when Steve's father started the business, when I started the business, Steve started the business, you could basically go anywhere you wanted in a horse carriage in Manhattan. Now that has all changed over the years, and that has changed.
No,
Mainly coming from us.
I'll tell you this: in the early '80s, when I started getting into it originally, when I was a teenager, we had 3 horses for 2 carriages, and we just rotated the horses. Where that has come, you go, like Paul said, you can go anywhere from the south side of the city to the north side to the east to the west. We could even went to Queens. We even were allowed to cross bridges and bridges and everything. We could go anywhere. Okay, today, we go from 34th Street north, from river to river, nowhere south of 34th Street. Okay, horses get 5 weeks vacation time. It used to be they used to be seen by a vet once a year. Now they get seen a minimum of 4 times a year. 4 times my horse sees a vet a year. You know, there's blankets, there's lighter carriages now with brakes and rain blankets for certain temperatures, and box stalls now, which before, when there was only 3 stables in the city, there was straight stalls, which is basically what we did was we legislated luxuries. You know, there was nothing scientifically wrong with a straight stall.
Nope.
Every horse in the city has a box stall. There's people living in Manhattan that have smaller spaces than our horses.
That's right.
Department of Consumer Affairs checks us 4 times a year. Veterinarians. But the great thing about our horse and carriages is, and it's based not so much the carriages, but the great thing about our horses is we tell people, come and see the horses.
Yeah.
The horses are there. Like, it's not as if they're hidden. It's not as if they're hidden. Like, it's not as if you can't see them.
I know. And that's probably one of the bigger surprises, is that you're all so open.
Yeah.
And
Transparency.
You want so badly to share with the community how proud of your work that you are. You know, but you want to be not edited or have your words twisted, or, you know, you want to be able to speak clearly and truthfully to the people, that are concerned.
Well, what we've noticed is that people that have genuine concerns, that we can educate them people. But people who don't, people who have different agendas are not there
Yeah, no.
To be educated.
to be educated.
No.
They'll never educate
They're
them.
not educated, and they have no concern whatsoever for the horse, which is the sad thing.
Yeah.
But they come in there and they'll destroy your life. They'll bring you to your knees, you know, and they'll just leave you. But you still, at the end of the day, you got to get back up again, put your boots on, and go back in there, fight the good fight, and keep at it for the sake of the horses and yourself and your own livelihood and your own.
And your city.
Yeah.
And you have to provide the service that we provide to the city for the people that come in and don't know anything about that. That see the horse and the carriage on TV and see them all over, and they said that's what we want to do, and they don't have any idea of that part of it. You know, we have to be there for those people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not fair to those people on a Sunday afternoon to come for a carriage ride to be told that they're a fat, lazy pig and all this other kind of horrible things they say to these people and make children cry and all different things. That's not fair. It's not. I feel, to be honest with you, yeah, I get angry and upset, but I feel more sorrow for those people that are innocent bystanders to the whole thing.
It's disgraceful.
Well, you're probably so used to it. I mean, that's.
You never really get
it's
used to it, Pam.
traumatizing.
You get that
You
you
learn to
live
deal
with
with
it.
it.
You learn to deal with it a little bit better.
I mean, now that
Some
you're-
days better than others.
You're feeling
but
for others, but I mean, you've become so. I've seen people that live in war-torn countries, for example, and they have to live. You know,
Yeah.
they have to survive it. But it's so tragic to live in one of the greatest cities in the world, in America, where we fought for all these rights that should be protected. And here you have, it seems like you have no rights at all. There's no protection for your voice, for your job, for your work. I mean, it's incredible, honestly. And who do you think who do you think needs to hear this message in order for real change or real protection or some real support? I mean, is it the horse people? Because I think you've tried everything. Is it the government? Is it the president?
We have a good relationship with them.
Is it the
We're
Hague?
very proactive. We deal with the Department of Consumer Affairs. We deal with the Department of Health. We deal with the police. We try to deal with our local council members. We reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
And we try to explain our case to everybody.
Right.
And a lot of times people just go, yeah, but you lads are all right. But, you know, then they forget about us.
Yeah.
They forget about us and we go back to our work and we're back to doing our basics again, and then we're back to the attack. The attack will come on a Saturday afternoon, it'll come on a Sunday afternoon, it'll come maybe on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night, it'll come and it'll go. But we're left with it.
We're left.
And everybody feels our pain, but they don't really enforce the rules and regulations. Everything that's been done to us is against the law, by the way. We work within our rules and regulations at all times. And for people to come and squeal at you and shout at you and roar at you and degrade you, for people to make children cry in the back of the carriage, that's not legal. Like.
Yeah.
But
not have permits.
That's what I mean. So where's the protection?
Well, there is no
Why?
protection.
Well, the biggest problem we have is the area in which we operate is a gray area for 3 different precincts.
Gotcha.
And one passes it off to the other that passes it off. It's like a round robin. And to be perfectly honest with you, they don't want to hear anything unless something goes wrong, and then they can come down on us because it'll be our fault.
Yeah, but the only reason, but the main reason they come down on us is because when they do come, say if there is an incident and there is something reported, and when they do come, we're there.
We're there. We're
still there.
We're identifiable. We have
still
our
there.
medallion numbers and our horses. Whereas Joe Schmo, that's
He's
holding
gone.
the sign,
He's gone.
is gone.
He's gone. Now, Joe mightn't come back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And probably not even using his real name.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Of course not. See, we're visible and we're there and we're going to be there.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the horse community?
Horse
the
community.
big, huge, diverse horse community that pretty much stays silent on this issue.
Well,
We're blue
We
collar.
understand that. We
Here's one
understand
thing I'll tell you. We're blue collar, hands-on horsemen.
Yeah.
Horsemen.
Yeah.
That's got to be put out there because
With more hours in.
then like I went over before, I'm not an owner that sits up in a luxury box watching my horse go around Central Park.
Yeah.
I'm there on the box driving.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to say that they're more of a horseman than me or Paul, come drive a horse through New York City and see how much of a horseman you are.
That's exactly.
And do it with the success rate, because we have 68 carriages that go to and from the park every single day. It's 272 trips. Okay, you multiply that 365 times. You know, we've had 3 horse fatalities in 27 years.
Almost 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, Aqueduct Racetrack had 16 this past racing seminar.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, I know eventing horses over 100 died.
Well,
Well over
horses
100 and riders.
and
And
riders
riders.
also. Our record is just unbelievable.
It really,
Our safety
really
record is unbelievable. And the traffic that nobody's in traffic we're in, like, but it's not a problem for us because we're professional carriage drivers and all our guys
That's right.
get up there and get back, and we have no problem whatsoever with it. They're in the park, and people who are in the horse business know people. The great thing is that people in the horse community, they do come along and go, boys, your horses are a credit. And they say,
Well, when they're with you. When they're with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't deny it. They're
No.
beautiful horses,
No.
and anybody that knows horses would be attracted to them to see what you're doing. That is, I mean, I look at those horses as super athletes. They're incredibly fit and well adjusted. Our vet that we took to tour the stable, the first impression he got was that not a single horse had any kind of neurotic behavior, any cribbing or pawing or weaving or any kind of anxiety type behavior. It was all just taking naps or eating their hay. Or I mean, it was incredible how well adjusted.
Cornell University done a survey of our horses one time, and the end result was basically that our horses were overfed and underworked.
That was the assessment. And we had one horse that was too thin, and he was, the next day, was put to Pennsylvania.
It was an independent
Yeah, which
survey
you
from
can't
Cornell
control.
University.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
One horse out of 160.
So overweight. Actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
overweight and underworked.
Yeah. Which is
I mean,
amazing.
our horses they're not lawn ornaments.
Exactly. So they're not.
They're working horses. Like.
They're thriving, blue collar, contributing members of our community, and that's
Which is
they are.
like the draft horses. That
Yeah.
we
The
talked
draft horse, the
about,
working
yeah.
horses. The working horse, the lucky horse.
Yeah,
You know?
that's right.
And the
We
horse that
tell
has a
people that.
job is a healthy horse. Is it work? You know, what's the alternative for these horses?
That's right.
The alternative is being shipped to Mexico. That's the alternative.
Or standing in a paddock.
Or standing in a paddock,
you know,
with no oversight. You know, all the oversight and the veterinary care
No.
and the vaccinations and, you know, trimming their feet every 6 to 8 weeks and you know, box stalls and automatic drinkers and,
No,
and
that's the exception.
You know,
That's the exception. I know because we're in rescue, we see on a regular basis how horses are treated. And they don't have half of the care that your horses
No,
have,
especially
even in the best situations.
in the best situation,
Best
especially now in economical hard times, everybody likes, when things are
Well,
going well,
they're
everybody
the
wants a
ones.
horse. Everybody wants a horse when things are going well. Everybody wants to buy the kid a horse. But then when things start to go a little slow, the horse is
the
first.
luxury goes.
The luxury goes, and the horse, unfortunately, feels the brunt of it.
Yeah, he's the one who pays.
And you
Yeah.
see it more so in the rescue. You see it update every day.
Yeah. Every
Rescue.
day we receive
Yeah.
calls, and they're not from people with horses with jobs. They're from
course not.
people. They're from people that had them as, you know, the backyard pet, or
Exactly.
they're- or they financially ran out of money, or in our case, because we have so many working horses, when a teamster, when their horses outlive them, you know, these old teamsters that
Yeah.
are
That
passing
happens. That
on.
happens, unfortunately.
So we see that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not only coming from low-income areas too. You're getting
No.
horses from the
Oh, our-
high-profile people as well that need
Well,
rescue.
it won't happen as much in the low income as we all know that.
Yeah.
Right,
People-
exactly.
People have made that bond with their animals.
That's right,
You know?
and their horses
Yes.
will eat before they will. And
Yeah.
there's so
Definitely,
many
definitely,
folks that are proud,
Yep.
and they try so hard. Yeah, I mean, there's all of this. So let's talk about the horse for a second. How do you guys feel? I mean, just to put it out there, what do you think the horse is feeling about his job in the city? We know that not every horse can do this job.
No.
No,
There's
no,
very
that's
few
a
that
fact.
actually
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Well, if the horse can't do the job, then he won't do the job. That's all.
It's exactly
Exactly right.
which is just common sense. But
Yeah.
it seems like we need to say this out loud because somehow there's this perception that you can make a horse do anything. Obviously, they don't know about
Well,
horses.
we have a great saying, and the 1,000-year saying, you can bring a horse to water, you can't make him drink. We prove that every single day. We prove that to
Exactly.
people. And it's a simple thing where we bring them, we have 2 water troughs on our route,
Yeah,
and every day we bring them there, and they don't always drink. And then
Yeah.
it's so,
can't make them.
on the route, it's beautiful because the water trough is right at the beginning of the ride, you know.
Yeah.
And we bring the horse over the water. People say, to you, straight away they'll say, to you, well, why we stop? What are we doing? We say, just give my horse water. They're like, oh, that's brilliant. So what we have, we're at the entrance of the park. So what you have then is you have the ordinary public walking on, and they'll all stand with the kids and they'll look at the horse, and then the horse will drink if he wants to drink, and not drink if he don't. And then if he doesn't drink, we have the big saying. We all go, the big laugh. We go. It
Yeah.
shows you, bring a horse to water,
Yeah.
you can't make him drink, and everybody gets a kick out of that because it's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if the horse doesn't want to work, then he won't work.
That's
At the end
right.
of the day.
Our horses, it's such a routine for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, our horses are the most visible horses in America. They're on one of the busiest streets in America. We have one of the hotels that comes over with a silver platter with carrots every day at noon.
Ritz-Carlton
The
Hotel.
Ritz,
The
yeah.
Ritz-Carlton.
Or a great neighbour, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
Yeah.
And the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, let me tell you, nobody in New York City has carrots like the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
Well, I bet.
We all buy our carrots every day,
They're probably
lots and lots of
organic,
carrots.
right?
They are.
Yeah, they're-
And they come across with these, and it is part of their daily program in the hotel where they send their children
Oh,
over.
wonderful.
Children come over to feed the carrots.
And the horses recognize the guys coming.
Oh, sure they do.
So,
Oh,
you know, they get interaction with people. They're not just standing out in a field.
Yeah.
The horses love the
Right.
interaction with the humans. They do.
Well, here on our farm, we encourage people to come and meet the horses and be with the horses and get to know the horses and take our workshops and horsemanship 101 so they can actually, you know, do more with the horses. Because the horses, just by being around them, you begin to understand them a little more. And by having that bond, you begin to understand how much they really need us to take care of them and what makes them happy or not happy. But
But we're always doing that too. Anytime
You're
we meet people every day,
always
we're always saying, listen, there's the horses. They
encouraging
love the
them.
horses. But we always encourage everybody to come to the stable.
Yep.
We're an open book. We have nothing to hide at all. We're on display every day at 59th Street. We've got to drive from the west side of Manhattan to our workplace and back and do our job when we're there. We're an open book. There's nothing hidden in our business. There's nothing behind the scenes. And we invite people every single day we go to work. We invite people to the stable. Some people come, some people don't. But they know there's an open invitation. They always go to the stables if they want to come to any of our stables at any time. They might have to arrange to come down with us or whatever. But that's all right, you know.
We have nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide.
No.
Nothing to hide.
You know.
No.
We can bring horses to our horse farms. You know, we'll show them where the horses are furlonged. You know, people. Sometimes, you know, you think these people think that we put these horses in little boxes at night time or something and put them into storage or something like that, like, and then pull them out every so often, like, you know, like a pair of rollerblades or something. But like, but that's not the reality. Like, but most people, what we notice is when we meet people, they're like, yeah, you boys are doing a nice job here.
Yeah.
You know, we can see that these are healthy horses, good, strong, happy-go-lucky horses. You know, like all our horses are big. They're like big babies, you know what I mean? Like you take a horse in a little carriage ride, the minute the ride's finished, before you get off the box, they're looking back saying, right, where's my carrot? Where's my carrot? And like, all right, so then you go like, and then you're like, you might play hard to get for a minute, you might just relax and you still, hey, where's my carrot? You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, this is the point of us having people come to see the horses. But one of the most fascinating things on the farm are the New York horses. They are the most social, relaxed. You know, there's a couple that have personalities that they're just their personalities are different. But we have
a couple of drivers I got too.
Yeah. They just love the Patty is famous. He'll stand there all day and be the ambassador for workhorses. Just to get some attention and love, and he misses it. He's a horse that again he needs to go out every once in a while because he really needs to get out. He can't just be in there all day.
Yeah, well, this one,
stretch your legs.
A lot of New York horses too. It takes them a while to warm up to the farm.
They don't. I had a horse that he's the mascot for the farm. He passed away this past year. He never got used to the farm.
Yeah.
He refused to be out in the farmland. He'd stand by the fence where the cars were. He didn't want to go. If we even tried to take him back there, he'd lock his legs. He refused. And he was here for 5 years.
Right. Whether you're a rancher in Texas or a carriage driver in New York, I could never tell a man in Texas what to do with his horse because he doesn't. I don't know that horse.
Well, here we are again violating your rights. I mean, it's
what
amazing.
might work for my horse might not work for your horse.
Yeah, and people feel like because they don't want anything to do with the city that for some reason it's appalling that any horse would be in the city.
Right.
Yet the horses built the city.
Right.
It's their rightful place. And I think this notion that they belong alongside us, they can be with us wherever we are. I mean, I think the only place they haven't gone with us is the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they really do. They thrive when they're alongside us, not when they're.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. You know, one other thing before we get off the subject of them working, that I was a carriage driver for a couple of years, and I really loved my job. I didn't know I loved my job, but I really loved it. I loved the tourists. I loved meeting people. I loved the history. I loved working with a horse every day, and you know. The different kinds of days we'd have, you know, he'd be in a bad mood sometimes, or sometimes he'd be too lazy or whatever, but just working with a horse every day is something so special. But one thing, you don't have rides continuously. There's lots of times you're standing around waiting. I mean, people have this idea that these horses are working. It's like you're lucky if you have a really good day where you're working.
The biggest part of the training of the horses for us is training them to wait.
To stand.
Because our horses that come in from the Amish country are used to being on the road, doing 10, 12 miles without stopping.
Not stopping.
And we're waiting for traffic, we're waiting for traffic lights, we're waiting for customers, we're waiting for pictures, whatever the case may be. 90% of our job is waiting. So getting the horse to be patient is about 90% of the battle.
Yeah.
When you get them patient, you got them broke.
That's it.
You can't have them jumping around.
That's it.
No, I love the New York horses and how once they step up on that curb, they're
up
like,
there.
That's it.
It's just such a trigger for them.
They're spoiled rotten, like, you know what I mean?
They are, like, gosh.
They're up there like freaking hell's bells getting petted by the whole world, you know what I mean?
And then they get some of their
and they
snacks.
give it all, they've all got their little personalities, you know what I mean? And they know what's happening, they know who's coming down the street, and they know who's not coming.
Yeah.
You know.
They know who the carrot people are. And
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And they know the different spots in the park that we stop every ride, whether it be for pictures or whatever the case may be. And you know, some of our horses, not all of them, but some of them, you could leave them there, and if I left them there, he wouldn't move. It just would stay there.
No, I
until
know.
done.
I've seen it over
You know,
and over
and they
and
would
over.
not move, and that's a testament to the people that are training them as well.
Absolutely.
You know, the horse gets a lot of the credit, but the guys sitting behind them that put the hours in don't get enough credit sometimes for what they do.
Well, they're not even regarded. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
That-
it's-
what about they talk about the horses being out in the weather, and most carriages are designed in such a way that the driver is never protected either.
Never.
It never does it come up that it might be too cold for the human, or that he may be working, because he's working at least 3 times as hard as the horse, because he's got to get the horse ready.
Yeah.
When it's all over, he's got to feed the horse and walk him out and all these things. I mean, the human is never considered when they're attacking you. It's
No.
incredible.
No.
Or what? For example, you, Steve, you have 2 young boys, that you're raising, and it's like you're a family man. You have a home. You have your wife. You have your family. Paul, I don't know. Do you
I haven't time, Pam. I have 4 horses.
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't time.
Exactly. I mean, so people don't realize that, here you are, you're a wonderful family man, you're loved in your community, not just within your horse community, but in your neighborhood, and you're really, really active in your community with your sports and things like that. And I mean, it's just amazing and amazingly pretentious to attack a man like yourself.
Right.
It's disgraceful. It's an outrage.
It's really, yeah, and if there's anything I'm trying to make a point of here in just interviewing you is to allow people to see for a moment just who you really are, because it's easy to pick on something you don't know.
Steve has 3
anything
boys
about.
going to school. No,
You have 3 boys,
Steve has his 3 boys at school before he goes to his work.
I know, yeah,
And he's coaching football, he's coaching hockey.
exactly, that's what I thought,
He's
yeah.
rearing these guys.
And he's trying to
Steve
stand
says it
up
doesn't
back.
stop. It doesn't start at the Central Park and just end. There's so much more to it.
No,
But they don't see that.
The
But
easiest
they don't
part of my
want to
day
They
is
see
don't
the
that.
want
top.
to see that.
Central Park's the easy part.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
it's away from the,
Yeah. Yeah.
as we say, the real world.
Yeah.
When we're at the park, we're not in the real world.
Yeah. Well,
But these people don't want to come up. But Steve's an easy target, He's 6'5", like so he's easier than the rest of us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They see how
More
forward,
visible.
I get away a little bit sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
No.
get away with anything
No.
either.
But they don't care that.
No.
They'll just come. They'll cut you to shreds. They'll tell you you're a horse murderer, you're an animal killer, you're an abuser, you're this, you're that. The things they say to you is just outrageous.
Well,
And God forbid you should ever open your mouth back to
well, that's
Well,
the
that's
other-
what happens. And then unfortunately, you might say something, and you're the world's worst.
No,
You know?
right. Unlike them who say just about every
Oh, yeah.
possible demeaning thing they
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've witnessed it, and then it's very hard if you're not experienced in it. It's extremely hard to hold back. And I don't know how many times I've been told, Pam, don't react, don't talk to them, because they don't listen, they don't care. But you can't believe what they're saying.
Right.
I dare anybody to withstand that. Even
Well,
you guys.
the thing is, if they were
really-
standing there telling the world how beautiful your horse is, you wouldn't have to say anything.
No, but they're not saying that.
They're just telling 100% lies. So in
They
that
don't
case-
even recognize.
So after a while, you just take so much, and then they keep running at you. Maybe this one will come at you, and then
yes.
another one. Then they'll tag team you, and they'll have 2 or 3 of them at you, and they'll have 4 or 5 of them at you, and sometimes you just can't.
It's just amazing.
But let's
Unfortunately,
put it into perspective too. They're not the voice of reason, and they're the minority. Most of the people, and, can see the horse for what the horse is. A beautiful animal, it's well cared for. But these people are professional antagonists,
Yeah.
and that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to antagonize. They're paid to defame. They're paid to run you through the mud because they want to be able to hurt you the spot that hurts you the most, and that's in your pocket. So if you can deter somebody from taking a carriage ride, if there's no carriage ride, the horse isn't working, the guy's not making the money. So if I'm not making the money, then I can't provide for my horse. You see how counterproductive it is? So they
Oh,
don't
God,
care.
yeah.
They don't care about the horse. The horse
No,
has
the horse-
nothing to do with
They have
it.
no
personally.
care
Yeah.
for it.
No,
But
I
the
know
best thing
none
about
of
it
them
is,
are.
what the best thing is? When they leave, there's a huge sense of relief when they leave, because you know what you're left with? You're left with your horse,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and a bit of peace and quiet.
yeah.
And you can go on about your own thing. Because you're still going to have to feed that horse that day.
Yeah.
There's not one of them. I notice, and I always, sometimes I say to them, I have never, ever, ever, ever seen an animal rights person present on the first day of the month when the rent would be due.
Yeah.
Or here. They've been invited here, by the way, to
Yeah,
help. We're
sure.
all volunteers here. come and clean up after them, or take care of, brush them, or feed them. Just be part of it one day. You know, I've invited them all. They're all invited.
Well, we do it too, you know.
I know
we try to invite.
But I mean, you're working.
Some of the more radical people we try. We don't want.
You're trying to make a living. But here on this farm, we're all volunteers. So here's an opportunity to do something
positive,
and generous, and take care of real horses in need. You know, and actually get to meet some New York horses who are the easiest horses on the farm.
But the thing that really gets us then is sometimes the people speak out against us who have never, like at least the fanatics, the crazy horses, they're there, they'll come around, abuse you, go away, that's fair enough. But then it's really degrading when some so-called celebrity who doesn't even know where Central Park is, comes in and maybe rips you a new one. And that person's listened to, you know, unfortunately. And they're gone, like. And we've invited all of them to the stable.
I know.
Anybody that ever speaks out against us is always invited to the stable.
Oh, I know.
People
and
don't
they always cannot, for some strange reason, they just can't get it into their agenda.
Well, this is the thing. They're effective.
Can't get it into their schedule to come.
The animal rights people are effective.